Meeting of the Lowell Conservation Commission. We have a Game 7 of the Boston Bruins tonight, so we're going to try and move things along tonight. Pauses will be kept to a minimum. I think we all are in the same ballpark as far as that goes. Calling the first item on our agenda is notice of intent continued from prior hearings. Bobby Benson Warren concerning DEP file number 2060725. Project location is 7779 in 81 Phoenix Avenue. We have a letter from the proponents requesting a continuance. Do I have so if you're here for that project tonight, this will be continued without any discussion. Do I have a motion to continue to the May 21st hearing date? 28th, correct. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
All right, I'll offer a motion to continue to the May 28th, 14th meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, so that's continued. Second item on the agenda is notice of intent, also continued from prior hearing date. Kevin Stewart concerning DEP file number 2060726. Project location is 97 Tanner Street. It's to install Jersey barriers, chain link fence, and gravel within 100 feet of a buffer zone of a bank of the River Meadow Brook.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Gregory Curtis, attorney with Goldman & Curtis in Lowell. We were before you previously on April 23rd. At that time, the plan did not have delineation on it with regards to where the property lines were, and we wanted to make sure that we knew exactly where we were going to be placing Jersey barriers on the property for the rear property line, and we also discussed issues of putting some plantings and trying to keep that area where the vegetation is on the flat surface prior to the River Meadow Brook embankment. So we did have the engineer replot that, come out and actually put stakes on the property. I hope the members of the board had a chance to go out there and see what was done. And we also at that time moved the silt fence and the wattles that were placed prior, almost back several months ago, to the proper location, which is inside the property line about 1 foot, and then from that point we have 15 feet of a buffer zone where we're planting, looking to plant arborvitaes, and also that would be on the river side or the brook side of the property. So there'll be no activity there other than the plantings that are going to go in. Proposed Jersey barriers, 2 reasons. One, to prevent any type of vehicles that are going to be stored on this location. As you recall, this is going to be storage for towed vehicles, that they don't get any closer to any area. There's no mishaps where a vehicle could become close to the river. We also showed on there the 25-foot river offset, which I think is what pertains to this particular property, since this River Meadow Brook is a man-made configuration at that location from when they built the Lowell Connector many years ago. So I hope everything's on there. I'm not the engineer, Steve Erickson. Unfortunately couldn't be here tonight because he's going to his daughter's graduation from the University of Illinois. So congratulations to her. She's getting her PhD, and I think that was great, and he's heading out there early in the morning. So I think the notes are on the plan. Everybody's been given a copy of that plan, which has been revised, and I guess I'll open it to whatever comments the board may have.
Well, we look forward to debating with the second generation of
Yes.
Ericksons if her degree is in environmental science. But I'm sure he's very proud of her. Attorney Curtis, as far as what we have the revised plan, and I know there have been made, the demarcations that we had requested. Are there any substantive changes to it as far as movement of the Jersey barriers
Well, I think on the last plan, we really didn't have delineated exactly where those Jersey barriers were going to be. Now we have them basically roughly a foot in from an area that's 15 feet off of the back property line. And we want to bring them up the sides. As you can see, the Jersey barriers, they come up the sides a little bit just to help with containment, and also the silt fence that's in place and the wattles that were put in place also went in 1 foot in from the property line. We, again, don't have control. We actually thought at one point the property was further to, I'm looking at a detail here, further towards Cambridge Street, but you can see that a lot of that property, which we thought was going to be a portion that Mr. Stewart was going to be purchasing, is actually owned by the city of Lowell. That's open land right now, and so we're not planning on any other type of activity in that buffer zone other than those Jersey barriers that are shown and fencing that would go along there, new fencing that would go along that area once we're outside that 100-foot buffer zone.
All right. I don't, Commissioner Varnum?
I noticed on this new plan that the proposed plantings is off of the property.
No, the plantings are on the property.
Plantings are on the property.
Yeah, the back lot line is where the fencing, the wattles are presently. The plantings will go between the lot line and the Jersey barriers. The Jersey barriers are 15 feet in on the property.
Okay, so the straw wattles are in the proper location according to this plan right now?
Now they're in the proper location,
Okay.
which is about 1 foot in from the property line, coming down to the back property line and then curving around up to the right of the property.
Okay, we do have some activity. Is there going to be paving on this back?
No paving.
No paving.
All there's going to be is crushed stone in the entire buffer zone area, and there'll be no paving down in the back. Those Jersey barriers basically sit right on the ground. There'll be a fence put on top of the Jersey barrier just for security purposes, but those are movable items, and there'll be no paving at that location. We're going to have to do a little bit of, I think, brush clearing, really not very much, because it's already clear where those arborvitaes will be planted, and hopefully, those will act as a nice shield eventually growing up naturally to shield not only the Jersey barriers, but the whole site from the River Brook area.
I think there's been some very poor soil material pushed around there to level things off, perhaps. And I think if you find the actual soil that was there originally, it probably could support the bushes, but I'm not sure what's there right now, Ken. It's,
I think what happened was the area that was being used originally for the yard extended all the way out onto where you can see that fence line. It says City of Lowell.
right.
That whole area was being used by the current owner or the prior owner. So that's going to be brought in now, and I think we may have to bring in some soil where we're going to vegetate, where we're going to put the arborvitae, because that looks like it, as you said, it's basically some scrub that's there and different things. I forget the terminology that Mr. Erickson used last week, but they're very invasive plants that just grow continually. They're already out there growing, and if you let them go, they just continue to multiply very quickly.
Yeah, well, I think this will protect the property further if you have the Jersey barriers, and it looks like a good plan to me at this point.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovely?
No, this is a good follow-up to the last meeting. A lot of additional detail. I have no further comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. At this point in time, is there anyone here who, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
For a motion to close the public hearing?
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Is there anyone here who would like to offer the comments or concerns either for or against this project? All right, is there anyone here who would like to offer their comments or concerns either for or against this project? Again, is there anyone here who would like to offer their comments or concerns either for or against? Hearing none, do I have a motion? If there's no further discussion.
Move to issue a standard Lowell order on this project with the condition that soil amendments be brought in before the shrubs are planted in order to ensure that their survival.
That's fine.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Chair is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney
Thank you very
Curtis.
much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a notice of intent, David Daly, concerning 229 Stedman Street, concerning DEP file number 2060728. Project location is 30 Hadley Street, and it's to construct a single-family residence within bordering lands subject to flooding. The applicant has by letter requested a continuance to our next date on May 28th. So if you are here for that project will be continued to May 28th. Do I have a motion to continue at the request of the proponent?
I'll offer a motion to continue the hearing to the May 28th, 14th meeting at the request of the applicant.
Do I have a second?
I'd like to second, but, well, go ahead, and then I'd like to say something.
All right, motion by Commissioner Lovely, seconded by Commissioner Varnum. Any discussion?
Yes, when I looked at the site today, it appeared, it's a lot that's been split in two, I believe. I'm not sure whether it's been subdivided yet. No. It appeared that fill had been brought in on part of the lot in conjunction with putting in a new driveway or perhaps leveling something. It looked like loose, sifted loam. It didn't look like it had just been there, then pushed around. And the pavement on the driveway was new. Since the majority of the lot is in the floodplain, I was a little concerned that work had been done there already before they'd come in.
We had a phone call from Mr. Daly asking, he wanted to remove some of the trees. And I recommended that since, it's basically the apple trees, I believe, in the front. I recommended that it is better that he wait until he addresses the commission. So he said he will hold off on that until he discusses that matter with the commission. So nothing else. And as I mentioned in my comments, the address 40 Hadley Street does not exist right now. So that is their intent to do, to create two single-family lots eventually.
I think the concern was that fill was brought onto the site.
Yeah, we are going to check. I'll do a site visit tomorrow itself.
I'm going to be questioning him about that
Sure.
when this is continued, so I just thought perhaps he might like to know that ahead of time.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Thank
And
you.
I
Right.
can definitely communicate the concern to him via email.
All right,
Some
all in favor of the
follow-up.
motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That will be continued to the May 28th hearing. Next item on the agenda is request for determination of applicability, Watlow. Oh, I'm going to need help here. Mixiaram, is that correct? Of New England. And the project location is 45 and 45.1 Bernier Street. And it's, all right, the item on the agenda is two options to expand the existing single-family residence at 45 Bernier Street. Before we get started, as a matter of procedure, pick one. The commission isn't going to throw two different projects up in the air on one filing. This is one filing for a request for determination of applicability. So pick the one that you think that, that you want to go with and offer testimony on that. But as a matter of procedure, you can't just throw at us several different options and and ask us to make a decision on that, okay? You could if you file multiple requests for determination of applicability, but,
All right, we'd like to pick option one, which would be to put an addition on the existing building. And we'd like to abandon option two, which would be...
before you start, can I have you identify yourself for the record,
Oh,
please?
yes, sorry. My name is Diane Evers. I'm with DP Evers Architecture and that design, and we are the designers of the project. We prepared all of the plans.
While you're setting up, could you, once you're set up, could you kind of just point out on the figure what portion of the property is within the 100-year floodplain? Right. I mean, what I was trying to get at while you're sitting, it doesn't appear that the work is actually, the property is within the 100-year flood zone, but the work is not. I just wanted to confirm that, okay.
That's it? Okay, yeah, this was before us a number of years ago, and we had spent quite a bit of time actually just establishing the 100-year line. When the temple was originally placed.
They built this one-story temple at that time, I believe, and I think that the survey was done in 2001.
It sounds about right.
And at the time, the survey, which I had received a copy of, had no topography on it.
Oh, it's almost a completely flat site, so.
It has enough information on it where you can find the 126 height, which is the...
Yeah, no, well, my point is my recollection is that's where the line was. And I know Commissioner Varnum was with us.
We never
Back
actually were
then.
able to determine where the FEMA, the floodplain line was from that old site plan, because if you look at the FEMA flood maps, the insurance maps that are available online through the GIS, it shows that the floodplain is pretty much covering everything, and it's not accurate, but this is a study ground plan. I mean, we had surveyors here shooting grades and elevations of the heights of this entire piece of property. So we have all of our topographical lines here are measured on site by a surveyor. We've never seen that with the old site plan. They didn't have any topography on it. There were no heights. So there is a gradual slope going down from the highest point, which is at 127.97, which is the highest point on the property, all the way down to 121. So there is a 7-foot difference from the Vernier Street down to the marginal brook.
Yeah, but it's a very long lot, so, yeah.
It is. But it's enough of a slope and enough of a difference, I think, that we can determine that the line of the FEMA flood hazard and his PF line is right there at the center of the property.
Swati, were you able to find the old file on when they constructed the temple?
No, that was not something.
It
I
just
had
as a,
looked into. Sure.
I mean, it's not necessary for tonight, just make sure we have a certificate of compliance, because the original
Sure.
temple was built under notice of intent,
Sure.
so just make sure that, you know, there may be an outstanding issue with respect to, yeah, there's a,
Site plan from 2001, yes.
the back temple was the one that we had, the back building, no, the other one.
This is the back temple right here, this one-story temple, small temple.
Yeah, well, the concrete platform, that was, I'm trying to think, that was at grade, I believe, and that was pre-existing, wasn't it?
It was
there
there already.
yeah, that-
It is
yeah.
raised up a little.
Yeah,
Right.
so, is that, I don't have any comments other than that, it's,
The site is almost entirely paved in the front, or covered with buildings, and
This is actually a separate lot, if you go into the maps available to look at. It's two lots combined into one, and this is actually designated as a separate lot right here with the paving.
I don't think that this particular proposal is going to affect the floodplain or the wetland if it's kept within its bounds, as you indicate on this plan.
We're purposely trying to be very conservative, and even with that option two, which we're not gonna actually pursue at this point, so we're happy to discard that. But we were, trying to stay within the exact same footprint, so that we wouldn't disturb anything on the property, and maintain, the relationship to the parking and everything else that's there. And what we're proposing to do is add an addition, to the back area here, which is towards the rear of the property, to extend the interior size a little bit bigger.
yeah, I believe under the original notice of intent, there was a permanent condition that they couldn't pave within the floodplain area. And I don't know if you remember that, but I think I recall that now, so,
Well, the paving that's already there, which has been there for the past 13 years, is from this temple forward. So this is the line of the floodplain that we determined with our study, site plan. So none of the paving is in the floodplain.
all right, yeah, the FEMA overlays are,
They're close, but,
well,
you know, and so we
yeah.
just wanted to be, absolutely certain, and,
You may have to apply for a letter of exemption, so,
a letter of exemption.
yeah, so they don't have that's gonna be a building?
It already is there.
Okay, well, so they're not paying, flood insurance on it, so.
Oh, okay. So you mean the building that they already have? We still have to apply for an exemption even
Well-
though it's already there and it's not in the floodplain?
Well, if they're not paying flood insurance on it now, then they're okay, but generally
Into that.
what happens is their insurance company will look at the FEMA overlays and send them a letter saying you're in a floodplain, so you've gotta pay.
So they could save some money because I'm sure the insurance company hasn't seen this as we just produced it.
Right, so, it may have already been done, I don't know, but it's something to look into. All right, is there anyone here who would like to offer their comments regarding this request for determination of applicability? Okay, it's not a for or against thing. All right, hearing none, do I have a motion?
I'd like to move to issue a -3 determination on this. It's close to the floodplain, but won't affect any appreciable way.
All right, was that a -3 or a negative?
-3.
And I'll second that.
All right, okay. What's the, can I just ask what the purpose of the -3 is? Because this is outside, it's non-jurisdictional, or are you considering that some of the property itself is yeah, well, we can issue, we can issue a negative determination, so, not a -3. It's the -3, just legally speaking, means that the activity is taking place within a resource area.
Okay.
But the
I'll
work is not likely to
withdraw my-
impact the
Withdraw
resource.
my motion and
Yeah.
move to issue a negative determination on this RDA.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we, all right, so we have withdrawn, and then a new motion to issue a straight negative determination, seconded by Commissioner Lovely, motion by Commissioner Varnum. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair is yes, opposed, the ayes have it. Okay, thank you. This phone starts lighting up, that's not a good thing.
Okay. Am I supposed to sign this? If I speak, am I supposed to?
Moving on to the next item on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability, University of Massachusetts Lowell. Project location is 211 to 241 Pawtucket Street, and it's demolish the existing building and develop a parking lot with stormwater management system.
Hello, I'm Jean Robinson from the university, and this is Dirk Van Lulin, our project manager, and our engineer is Bill Myers from Niche Engineering.
Good evening.
And a quick overview, we have recently acquired the two properties, which is directly across from our new Student Union building, University Crossing. The intent of the properties is to demolish one of the buildings. The second property is already a parking lot. Our plan is to convert both of those properties into, sure. No, that's fine. I was just going to turn it over to Bill to provide a quick overview of what the project entailed.
There's a retaining wall back there now, isn't there, between the embankment and the back of the, well, there's somewhat of a wall between. Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to say, thank you.
Right, there's no remnants of stone wall, which is possibly from old foundations that used to be here at various points along the rear property line.
Okay. And what you didn't touch on, and what I want to touch on perhaps a little bit more, is the demolition phase and dust abatement and debris abatement. What sort of measures are you going to be utilizing and putting in place to mitigate, overnight storage of debris? Is it going to be trucked off-site immediately upon demolition, or will it be stored on-site?
I'm not sure, some of the material will be stored on site. We will have hay bales around the edges of the stockpile, solar stockpiles that are remaining on site. But due to the site configuration, there's really no great expanse on the width of the project, more so the length. That much of the activity will just be trucked off site as it's removed. All of the work that we will upgrades on the property and the existing parking lot here is what we're looking for the contractor to do. At this time, I'm not looking to remove the whole foundation, and perhaps only remove a portion of it just to save on some costs. And also keep as much of the area stabilized as possible.
So you'd be backfilling that foundation then? Okay. All right. Do you anticipate, when you do your digging and installing your catch basins, do you anticipate running into any volatiles or inappropriate fill material?
No.
Okay. Has the site been tested for that?
We're currently soliciting a testing company to perform a couple of borings on the two sites.
Okay. Are you expanding the impervious area at all? Or are you,
By about 400 square feet.
okay, and that's laterally, not towards the canal?
Good.
That's towards the bridge?
Good, correct.
Okay, all right. All right, I don't,
As far as erosion control and mitigating measures such as buildings being torn down, secondary water, there is a requirement to have fire department personnel doing well. Buildings being demolished, so the building will be water down, reduce any airborne that does particles from the building, transport up into the air.
the,
And once the parking lot, is installed, it's still installed, erosion control inlet, structures to protect water before it discharges up, to protect the street.
all right, I believe that we're getting away from using hay bales as erosion control and utilizing straw, just because of the invasives that are carried along with the hay bales, so, and that's okay. I think it's part of our standard order now anyway, so, so it would come out in that. But since this is here on an RDA, we would probably just make a special notation in the RDA. I don't have any further questions. Commissioner Varnum?
There's a couple that look like snowflakes here. Is that snow storage on it's on the landscaping plan? Or where would your snow storage be?
Snow storage areas would be the side areas of the lot, with the landscaping, all this landscaping along here, it's very minimal that we can do on this side of the property, except for this triangular shaped, landscaping.
It's towards the front, not the back.
We,
The snow storage is away from the canal.
We're not looking to install any snow storage areas along the edge of pavements. Here,
Are you gonna leave whatever vegetation there is? You said you'd clear invasives on the slope? And leave other things there? It's not gonna be a complete clearance? Now, is there a fence or some kind of, is it just a guardrail along the back? I was impressed with the landscaping plan. I thought, you know, I was thinking of the students with the spring and fall color, that it was gonna be very nice for them.
I think it'll tie in nice with the bridge, too. It'll be a good vista, so. Commissioner? Commissioner Lovely?
No comments.
All right. This is here for an RDA. Is anyone here would like to offer their comments regarding this request? Hearing none, okay. Then this is appropriate for -3.
I'll offer a motion to issue a -3 determination, maybe with a special notation that we replace the hay bales with straw wattles.
And just for the record, I mean, I don't know if, but I had a prior telephone conversation with Adam Bakey regarding this project. He had called me last week. And I usually just like to be very transparent about anything that goes on. He had called me about this project and had asked normally whether an RDA was an appropriate or whether a full filing was necessary. And from my not very lengthy conversation with him, he sort of filled me in as to what you were doing and what was going on really within the significant portions of the resource area. So, all right. We have a motion by Commissioner Lovely. Do I have a second? Second. By Commissioner Varnum. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or Bruins, and chair is yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, next item on the agenda is request for determination of applicability, Boot Hydropower, Inc., regarding project location is Broadway Street Bridge, and conduct repairs on the bridge over the Pawtucket Canal located on Broadway Street. Isn't that, from what end, isn't that already undergoing? No? Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Isn't work already going on out there?
No.
No? Oh, all right. Okay. If you could introduce yourself for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Skip Medford, representing Boot Hydropower. I think you all have copies. We appreciate the Commission's consideration of this request. We have the need to repair this bridge in probably the next 6 months. There don't appear to be any resource areas impacted aside from the canal itself. This is the Pawtucket Canal downstream of guard locks. And the work involves strict steel repair and replacement to the substructure of the bridge, which have been depicted very thoroughly in the drawings. One of the main features for protecting the canal, and something we've recently implemented on the Kearney Street Bridge repair, was full containment of anything falling from the bridge and any construction-related debris by the use of work barges below the structure. And we appreciate the Commission's determination on Kearney Square as well.
Now, Just as a point of reference, I mean, Boot and L, are they all the same people, or are we talking about different entities here, or?
Technically different entities, but Boot Hydropower Inc. is a subsidiary of Enel Green Power
Okay,
North America Inc.
So we're anticipating that probably the same contractors that did the Kearney Square Bridge and the Central Street Bridge?
Not necessarily. We go through a bid process, and this bridge replacement project is going to bid very soon. And we'll evaluate those bids, select the best contractor that we feel offers, price, service, timeliness, et cetera. So certainly the other bridge contractors would I presume have a horse in the running, but not necessarily.
All right. The prior bridge projects, I think, were all done under an NOI, or were they done under an RDA?
We have both, actually.
Yeah. What concerns me here, on a simple RDA for this, is that it's extensive repairs and, we consider the Pawtucket Canal a resource area. And I know that the Wetlands Protection Act sometimes separates out man-made canals. However, the Wetlands Protection Act also, though, allows for traditionally non-jurisdictional areas to become jurisdictional if they impact resource areas. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you're within a couple of 100 yards of the Merrimack River here. And this water flows directly into the most significant resource area in the whole region, let alone the city. I'm not saying that this needs to go forward on a notice of intent, but what I am saying, though, is it's perhaps not as simple as, is this a resource area or not? For me, it's a request for determination of applicability. For me, with really not even hearing much about what's going on, my answer is yes. It would be a positive determination. That being said, however, can this project proceed? Can we get to and protect the resource area and mitigate any risks to the resource area and allow the project to proceed under, a -3? I pass over the Kearney Square Bridge every day, several times a day. I pass over the Central Street Bridge when that project was being done every day, maybe 5 or 6, 7 or 8 times a day. So the work that is being contemplated on this bridge, I would imagine, is very similar to the work that was performed on both of those bridges. It's a very similar structure. It's perhaps a little bit bigger, but as far as traffic goes, I'm assuming you're going to be doing one lane one side than the other side, so you're not shutting down the road completely. But what I would like to hear from you is what sort of debris mitigation, debris catchment that you're going to be putting in place. So you're going to have the floats like you did in Kearney Square. You're going to have the curtains like you did on Central Street, the tarps underneath the bridge. On Kearney Square, you had both. You had both barges and curtains to catch all debris. In Central, you suspended everything from underneath the bridge. There was nothing floating in the canalway itself. So if you could explain, I know you're going to be going out to bid, but can you give us some semblance as to what sort of protections you're going to be put in place here to protect the resource?
Yes, I can comment on a few items. First, the repair plan for this bridge proposes complete closure for the duration of the repair, with traffic rerouted, down School Street and over to Walker. I forget the side street, but it's depicted on our plans. Total closure and pedestrian traffic maintained on the south sidewalk. So I think the work can be accomplished certainly more quickly than Kearney, and with less details to worry about vehicular traffic. They're going to do the repair, and I don't think any topside work is proposed. Unlike Kearney, which had new pavement, new sidewalk, new rails, things like that. Right. This is proposed to be a substructure repair, to buy some time, to allow a full consideration of replacement options and things like that, which for that span would be quite costly. So this is proposed to be a repair only. The duration, I've been told, is expected to be about a month, although we don't have bids in. What worked on Kearney, and I'm not familiar with Central as you are, were work barges, and there was a lot of concrete work there. Here, the work proposed is steel repair and replacement only. I have some pictures here if you'd like, showing the work barges underneath the work area.
Excuse me, you're only proposing to do work to the spans themselves, not the road surface?
To the best of my knowledge, yes, and I think that's depicted on the plans, and I have a large set here if you'd like as well.
Yeah, sure. What sort of work then to the spans are you proposing?
Some portions are slated for strict replacement, and some are for reinforcement, which we term a repair. Those are from Caring, of course.
So is there going to be sandblasting going on? Is chipping, what sort of demolition type?
As you can see, one of the notes here specifies no power washing, and other procedures to minimize any falling debris, paint, etc. All steel shall be cleaned using hand tools. Neither sandblasting, high-pressure water, nor chemical cleaning is permitted. Note 8.
And to the extent that you're saying minimize, to the extent that there is some, what's going to be put in place to catch that? That's,
The contractor will determine that finally. Work barges, were effective at Kearney, and I think that would be the option at your discretion to specify if you'd like a particular method or not. We've also listed here that no debris shall enter the waterway, and any that does shall be immediately removed. And I will find that now. The contractor shall install temporary shielding to prevent debris and construction materials from entering the waterway. Note 7. Any debris or materials that enter the water shall be removed immediately at the contractor's expense.
okay. Commissioner Barnum?
I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Lovely?
No, I have no questions. The only comment I would offer, it sounds like at least in the existing plans thus far that are going out to bid, you have a performance standard, so to speak, allowing the flexibility to the contractor to decide the method to meet that performance standard with regard to preventing debris from going into the canal and things of that nature. Is that correct?
I classify the performance standard as note 7.
All right.
Great.
Okay.
The method to meet that, at this point, is contractor discretion.
Gotcha.
Which gives them flexibility and assures us the best product.
Right.
If we determine that some of their proposed methods are infeasible, too costly, then they select it.
But what Note 7 does for us is, as a commission, is it helps to ensure that the resource is protected during the duration of the work, which if I remember what you said correctly, you're assuming about a month's worth of time.
That's our best guess at the moment.
Okay.
You know, naturally, no one wants to see this bridge
Right.
closed
Right.
for longer than absolutely necessary.
I have no further comments, thanks.
All right, the only thing I would like to add to that is, once you have sent this to bid and have accepted a final bid, that the contractor or Boot Hydro submit final method that you will utilize to the commission prior to any construction for our consideration, regardless of, you know, whether we go positive or a -3 here, but such that, you know, it's, the finals are reviewable by the commission prior to any work starting.
Be a special condition.
Yes. Okay.
Here's what's detailed as repair versus replacement, and that's carried through the rest of the drawings.
All right. Okay. Is there anyone here who'd like to offer their comments regarding this request? All right, hearing none. It's the pleasure of the board. You know, I think given the short-term nature of this, that a -3 could at this time be appropriate, but I don't want to foreclose, you know, if we get something back in the final from the approved bid through you that concerns us, that we have the flexibility to amend our decision to a positive determination, but I think at this point in time, we can -3 this. So,
Would
with the condition that we get finals prior to any work being performed.
That's reasonable, of course.
So with that being mentioned, I will offer a motion to issue a -3 determination, subject to the applicant submitting final plans with respect to debris control measures that will be implemented to protect the resource during the construction period.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
In front of the Francis Gate? Submit a letter. There was a prior, I think, an outstanding either notice of intent or, I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore. I don't know if you do.
Pawtucket Gatehouse, don't you?
Yeah.
Up by the falls?
Yeah, submit a letter. You're gonna be bringing a crane in, I would assume? Okay. Just to let us know, because an enforcement order went out with a stop work a number of years ago, so just let us know. All right. Next item on the agenda is a request for certificate of compliance, Leslie and Albert Casey, 98 Columbia Road, concerning DEP file number 206727. Project location is 98 Columbia Road. And this was continued from the last, wasn't it? No? This was the NOI and then the right. So, we're just taking this in sequence here. Okay. I don't have any questions.
I'd move to issue a certificate of compliance on this.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? No? All right. Do I have we have a motion, we have a second. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. All right. Unless you guys want to say something. All right. You can say go Bruins.
No, just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Go home, watch the game, cheer them on.
Thank you.
I'm going to call first goal Riley Smith, but, all right. Moving on, last item on the, well, no, it's not. Second to last item on the agenda is enforcement order continued from prior hearings. Paul Mercia concerning DP file number 2060701. Violation location is 51 and 57 Shirley Avenue, and it's construction of a single-family residence within bordering land subject to flooding. This is a filing which the DEP had issued a superseding order of conditions. However, the Lowell Conservation Commission, under the City of Lowell Wetlands Ordinance, had issued a denial, and we have an existing enforcement order to restore the site and revegetate the site. And given the fact the applicant, well, not the applicant, but the enforcee has requested a continuance by letter dated yesterday due to the fact that their representative could not be here tonight, and it was, to me, a reasonable request. Unfortunately, we want to get going on this. There has been some movement forward in planting trees. It may not have been to everyone's satisfaction, but I'm inclined to really not take a lot of testimony tonight on this. It's, you know, there's no representative here for Mr. Mercia, so I mean, we're just going to be barking up a tree at this point in time. I think, I know Commissioner Varnum wants to say some brief words, and you know, I think the work that's been done needs to be revisited, perhaps by an arborist or an expert, to make sure and to ensure the survival and going forward of the work that's been done to reestablish the site. But Commissioner Varnum?
I visited the site due to the a concern of the neighborhood that the trees weren't of appropriate size or variety. I found that wasn't the case, although there was a substitution, I believe, of an oak for an ash. But my concern was the quality of the planting, the physical planting of the trees, and I would like Mr. Mercier to be alerted that this is a problem. I don't know who he hired to plant the trees, but at least probably half of them are in danger of not surviving due to how they were planted and the fact that none of them were watered at the time of planting. And I don't know if they've been watered yet. So rather than have some quite nice trees just sit there and die because there was been a continuance, I would hope that Mr. Mercier would like to send someone out to try to remedy the situation before our next meeting. Certainly the trees were expensive enough not to have to buy over again in the same season.
If you could communicate that, Swati, to Mr. Mercier and Mr. Erickson, so we're not, you know, it's not going another 2 weeks. All right, so we have a motion to, we have a request to continue to have any further action. And I actually don't think we need to continue it. I think that the request really was that we would take no adverse enforcement action tonight. It's an open matter. It doesn't really need to be, continued, so, all right. All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lovely, any? Okay, all right. And lastly, Mr. Pesnola, I think this is you. Other business, 595 Pawtucket Boulevard, concerning DEP file number 2060703, and its request to approve a revised site plan with minor change under the order issued on January 28th of last year, 2013. And from what I've seen, you're increasing the flood storage capacity.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Joe Pesnola from Hancock Associates, representing Dr. Naboo. This order was issued in December of 2012, January of 2013. And the final architectural plans, we did it based on preliminary plans. The project is an expansion of the lobby area in the existing 5-story, 595 Pawtucket Boulevard building, the Saab Tower. Final architecturals have grown the lobby by 3 feet and also introduced a canopy. Canopy will have one stanchion that comes down 10-inch circular. So where we were so tight on compensation here, we revisited it and submitted plans to staff showing how we made up for the compensation. Was a little bit of work in the stairwells to do that, and also the removal of the wooden closure that was underneath the parking garage. So we actually increased the amount of flood compensation. So we see this as a minor change and would ask the commission to ratify it as such.
All right, I looked at the plans. I really don't have anything to say. Have you been skiing recently?
No.
No.
Didn't make it to Tuckerman.
No, they got a ton of snow up there just a couple of weeks ago, so
Yeah.
that's my dad was telling me. All right, Commissioner Varnum?
All of the changes take place under the building then, is that correct?
Yeah, under the building and in the stairwells and the lobby.
There won't be any disturbance to the drainage swale or anything?
No, not at all. And they've actually started to engage the contractors, and they called me to get clarification of the milling of the parking lot if they do that, because we didn't want to have them do an overlay and lose floodplain storage. And they just asked if they could do full-depth reclamation instead of milling, and I said, that's fine as long as you maintain the grades. So.
I don't see any problem with this change.
All right, Commissioner Lovely? All right. No one's here regarding this, so do I have a motion to accept the minor change as for filing?
Motion to accept.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And it's just accepted as a change. Okay.
And I'm sorry to report, Mr. Chairman, 1-0 Canadians at the end of the first.
All right, you're out of order. Get out of here.
Go Bruins.
I guess it wasn't Riley Smith then. All right, we have a ton of minutes, and unless I have an en banc motion to approve,
I'm done reviewing them, and I'm good with them, but I don't have a need to get it done tonight. if you
well,
have any.
I mean, we can do it by motion. I looked at them. I don't know if Commissioner
I
Dunham
looked
did.
at them.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll offer a motion to approve the minutes. Do I need to go through all of them?
Nah, as outlined on the agenda.
As outlined on the agenda?
Right. Do I have a second
Second.
by Commissioner Varnum? Motion by Commissioner Lovely. All in favor signify by saying Bruins. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Commissioner Varnum. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And go Bruins. All right. We have some things to sign.